Yeah, we bring reviews of your house. Talk to our dudes of your house. I bring my views of your house. Wrestling truths of your house. We talk to you in your house. We keeps it cool in your house. We keeps it cool in your house. I'm spitting truths in your house. Yes. Mark's hating on his fans. Becky Nish on the man. Play with two like alliance. Household a dangerous alliance. I am an army like Cody. And I'm overcoming like Kobe. No, they cannot hold me. Come listen, I'm hosting, critiquing, I'm boasting. This wrestling I'm knowing.
My name is Brian Pillman Jr. And you're listening to the In Your House podcast.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to In Your House, starring Alakan House. This is the People's Podcast. Hey guys, you already know who it is. It's your boy Khan, ready to get out work. When it comes to this professional wrestling business, we cover all facets of the business right here at In Your House. Hey guys, real quick, let me let you know where you guys can listen to us at. You can listen to us at Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Spreaker, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Himalaya. Oh, you don't have a Apple device? That's all right. We're on Google Play. So you guys are good to go anywhere that you guys are. Yo, we can get to you. Man, it's real facts, man. It's real facts when I say that. And I said something earlier. Y'all. I said we cover all facets of the professional wrestling business, and I don't play around when I say that. I mean what I say, okay? Alright? Yeah, all you guys out there listening, I'm talking to you right now, alright? All those people out there in 14 different countries across the United States of America and locally, right here in our home of Indiana, I told you all that we cover all facets of the professional wrestling business because we respect this business. We love it so much here at In Your House. And we get perspectives from everybody. We get perspectives from everybody here in this professional wrestling business. And that is why I think of the men in the stripes, the referees, the men that go out there and they referee these matches. I've seen some bad referee work, and I've seen some great referee work, and I've seen how they handle tough situations such as guys jumping in the ring that ain't got no business being in the doggone ring, or injuries that happen right there in the middle of the ring. Man, it's tough. I can't imagine doing that job. I can't imagine that job being easy. So I wanted to bring somebody here that could bring that type of perspective here to In Your House. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm happy to bring on to In Your House, and honored and privileged to have him on, esteemed referee Sean Patrick O'Brien. How are you doing, bro?
Hey, what's good, brother? How you doing, man? I appreciate that nice little intro, because I definitely agree that we have a very thankless job sometimes, but yeah, it's definitely a hard job, and I have a blast doing it. So yeah, man, I appreciate you having me on. What's good?
Oh, man, you already know, bro. Just over here doing my doggone thing. Man, I was dealing with this damn tornado warning. We would have been talking earlier, but I want to let you guys know out there in the listening audience, you guys are going to hear this Tuesday morning, the day after Memorial Day. So happy Memorial Day, and thank you to all those who served our country and died for us. So I wanted to say that. But 6 a.m. Tuesday morning is when you guys will hear this. We have esteemed referee Sean Patrick O'Brien. So I want to ask you, bro, the first thing that I want to ask you, coming to my brain here, because I have so many questions for a referee. So I knew that I was going to talk to you. So there was just a lot of different questions I had. But I have to start with this question that I always ask my guest every single time. It's always my first question, bro. I have to ask you, Sean, where did it all start for you? Where did professional wrestling start for you?
Yeah, man. Professional wrestling started for me as a kid. I grew up, and what was, I guess, one of the more popular eras of wrestling as far as the Monday Night Wars and stuff. That was that was, fourth, fifth, sixth grade for me. So that was kind of, some of my earliest. Wrestling was just kind of one of the earliest things that I kind of gravitated towards.
Yeah.
Just because, A, it was so popular, then B, it's addicting as hell.
Yeah.
And and also too, growing up in the area that I grew up in, I live in the Louisville, Kentucky area.
Yeah.
And and the history of wrestling is really rich in this area, and including OVW, which is still in this area right now. They still run to this day, and so, as a kid, I looked up how much it would be to start training and all that. And, of course, that was when WWE was still there, and, Randy Orton and John Cena and all those guys were still training there, and Batista and all that. And so, but I looked up how much it was, and it was way too much for, either me or my parents to afford. But at the time, I was doing a lot of stuff musically. I've been doing stuff musically since I was in, third grade. So between singing in church and, I sang in professional choirs and all that. So, which we'll get into all that.
Oh
later,
yeah, dope.
But,
that's dope. Yeah.
So I always kind of had that, as another passion as far as music goes, and that always was just kind of the front runner, and wrestling was kind of always in the back of my mind, and until one day I was able to, put on the stripes and start doing it. But yeah, man, I've always loved wrestling since I was a child, and I never ever thought in a million years that I would ever get into the business, especially the way that I did, and where I'm at to this day is. It's still kind of mind-blowing. Sometimes I feel like it's a dream,
Oh, man, I'm feeling that, man. And I'm definitely feeling you on that, because I'm listening to you talk, bro, and I'm resonating with it in a heavy way, because I, too, am a musician. I've been doing hip-hop my entire life, singing, rapping, making beats, producing, just done this my entire life. But like you, wrestling was always in the back of my mind. And now I still do music. I mean, even at the top of this podcast, the intro music, that's me. I rap my own intro music, just because I love it so much, and it's a passion of mine. But for me to be able to do this right now, to talk to these people, these men, these women that put their body on the line at any level of the game. I'm not just talking about WWE. I'm not even just talking about AEW, even of MLW, any of the ROH, any of them. I'm talking about just any local, federation here locally, and I just get behind it. I love it. I mean, I've been to shows here locally, just in my own area, and I have fun with it, just like I have fun at any show. I don't know. I'm sucked in by it, man. So,
dude, to kind of add to what you were saying, sorry to cut you off, but
no, please go ahead.
There's so much good wrestling out here right now, man.
Oh, no doubt.
I'm always trying to, watch something else besides wrestling, because I'm hooked on it now.
Yeah.
Because there's so much good stuff between, AEW and this past weekend and Double or Nothing. Like, that show was incredible.
Yes.
To WWE, like I'll still watch. I still go anytime they come to Louisville. And it's not the greatest, but at the same time, it's WWE, so the production quality is, better than anybody that's going right now. You know what I'm saying? So,
oh yeah.
And then also too, like every show that I'm on, I see some really incredible stuff between Unsanctioned Pro and Black Label Pro and all the way down to, like, I work for Girl Fight, and like and those girls do some really incredible things, working with Sue Young, and Jordan Grace is coming next month.
Jordan Grace,
yeah, man, yeah. And then not only that, but IWA Mid-South is still, I mean, like, people think that we're a dead company, man, but we're still alive and well. Sammy and Jake was just our tag team champions. They actually just lost the championships again. But, Congo Kong is still there on a weekly basis. Tracy Smothers still comes by from time to time.
Yep.
Actually, this coming week, this episode will already be out, but this week, Dutch Mantel, Jimmy Jacobs, and Manny Fernandez are going to be at IWA this week.
Jimmy Jacobs, you better be playing with me, bro. Jimmy Jacobs,
no, I swear, yeah, Jimmy Jacobs, man. Yeah, Jimmy Jacobs will be there. I cannot wait to see him again. He pops in every now and then just because he loves him some Ian Rotten, but yeah, Jacobs will be there. Dutch Mantel, I can't wait to work with him. You know, it's going to be amazing.
So many great names. So
yeah,
many
man,
great names.
But going back to your point, wrestling is hot as hell, and like
Yep.
I work for a lot of companies, and like I see some really really incredible stuff, even just on a weekly basis at the weekly shows that I work at. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
it's a great time to be a fan, man. I'm so hooked on wrestling right now. Like,
I agree, bro. I totally agree. It's a fantastic, wonderful time to be a fan right now. It's a wonderful time to be a fan. It's a wonderful time to be in the business. It's just great times right now, bro, if you're a wrestling fan.
oh yeah.
So that's gonna lead me to asking you this. I think of a great referee, and of course we're gonna get more into your career. But now you've brought up AEW, and I wanted to ask you something. From a referee standpoint, and I know I felt like it was huge, but from your profession, from your line of work, what you do to contribute to this business that we all love so much, how did you feel when you saw that Earl Hebner had signed with AEW?
Earl Hebner's a legend in this game. You know what I'm saying? So, there's a ton of legends that they could have signed, and I would have been like, that's amazing. So, but to see Earl Hebner, be with AEW is pretty cool. There's, like I said, there's a ton of people that they could have put in that position for me, because I mean, now that I am a referee, like I look up to so many of those guys that did it before I did. And like Earl Hebner's not even, he's probably in my top 5, but he's not even one of my favorites. You know what I'm saying?
No, I got you. That's
my
cool.
favorite referee of all time is actually Charles Robinson.
Charles, I love Charles Robinson. I love Charles Robinson.
Man. So, and then after that, it's probably Mike Chioda.
I like Mike Chioda.
Yeah, so you know what I mean, like, but yeah, man, seeing Earl Hebner, especially seeing him being the man in the stripes for that Cody Rhodes and Dustin Rhodes, battle. It's good stuff, man. I love me some Earl Hebner.
Oh yeah, me too, man. Me too. So let me ask you this. How did you become a referee? Obviously, like I said at the top of the show, esteemed referee Sean Patrick O'Brien. But before he was esteemed, how did he get into the refereeing?
Yeah, man. Well, like I kind of had mentioned earlier, I kind of stumbled into it.
Yeah.
There was a company that was running here locally that was. It had some guys in it that weren't really doing other stuff in the area, and actually, when they closed down, they kind of stopped doing stuff. Period. I don't know if it was because they just weren't being used by other people or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But that company ended up. They were doing some TV stuff. This is whenever YouTube kind of first became a thing, and so they had like a weekly YouTube series that they used to put up, and then they used to run in the opposite time slot of OVW on the same local channel that they ran and stuff. So they were doing some things, but not really big things. You know what I'm saying? Maybe local big things, but yeah, I had got on with that company because my cousin's husband, he was actually wrestling at that time, and he had brought me in. I went to a couple shows and helped out, just as a fan and stuff, and would stay before and after shows, and just kind of seeing if I could even get into the business. Period. And and then they had a training school that started doing some stuff, and I was kind of coming just a little bit. Didn't know if I really wanted to start training, officially or whatever. But then one day, they needed a referee. Or they needed some extra referees for a battle royal, and so I threw a shirt on, and I was one of the refs for the battle royal. The next week they ended up giving me a match or two, and just to see how I would handle it. I handled it pretty well, and after that it just kind of turned into a thing, and I was one of the refs for that company. Well, then cool. I took like a short break because I was doing my music thing, and like the Louisville music scene is super hot. We had a guy recently blow up from our area, Bryson Tiller. And
I know
doing
Bryson
his
Tiller.
thing right now.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Yeah, man, Tiller's a man. He, so the Louisville music scene, the Louisville music hip hop scene is amazing. Anyway, I took a break from wrestling to do that because at the time, That was the only company I was working for, and I really didn't know much outside of that.
Yeah.
Besides a little bit about OVW, but I didn't know how to get there except for you needed a license.
Right.
So yeah, I kind of started doing the music, started taking it a little bit more serious. Ended up stumbling into. I live really close to the Jeffersonville Arena, where
Yeah.
a lot of different companies run out of, and actually, I'm somewhat fortunate to work for all those companies, and I love working for all those companies because all of them, do some really really cool things, all the way from Too Tough Tony School, Grindhouse, Wrestling Academy to IWA Mid South. There's Paradigm Pro Wrestling. Girl Fight runs out of that building. So, but anyway, I went to a show that was going on there, and ended up getting a match or two, and ran into a guy named Biff Wellington III.
Okay.
And who Biff is a guy that trained at OVW and did some stuff, and he's always just kind of been in this area. Did some stuff with IWA Mid South.
Yeah.
So, and now he's a little bit older. His son is actually killing it right now at IWA Mid South. His name is Dewey Wellington. But anyway, but Biff had, at the time, he was writing for a company that was in the arena, and was like, "Hey, man, you're really good. Do you want to, you want to do this again?" Started, reffing again. That ended up leading to me reffing for, the prestigious IWA Mid South. Where guys like AJ Styles and Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose and just name after Ruby Riott, she wrestled there back in the day. Like names after names have wrestled for IWA Mid South at some point. Daniel Bryan, but yeah, I started working at IWA. That led me to all the relationships that I've made through that company, which that led to, me getting booked by Black Label Pro and the Unsanctioned Pros and all the different places that I'm at now, man. And now I ref for, I think at last count, I was at like 14 different companies.
Wow.
So, yeah, man, it literally was just kind of a snowball that just kind of started as something small, and it rolled into this big, beautiful thing, and to where I ref, all over the Midwest. So, yeah.
Man, that is fantastic, man. That is so awesome, man. Just a story of just things just kind of came together. You know what I mean? Things just kind of came together.
Like I said, I never in a million years thought that I would be doing what I'm doing and in the position that I'm in, man. But I'm so grateful, and I have a blast doing it. So. Man, that's so amazing. So let me ask you this. I know you're happy to be in the business, but have you how many times have you been a little bit too close to the business? And when I say that, I mean in there in the ring with these big guys and these talented women, and maybe you'll catch a kick, maybe you'll catch a drop kick, something, get ran into something. Is that an issue for you? Is that something that happens often or not at all? Oh, it happens. It happens a lot. Yeah, it definitely happens a lot. And I'm kind of a dummy. And I like to make if I could kind of pull back the curtain just a little bit.
Sure.
I like to make my bumps look good.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I'm definitely all for the ref getting bumped and doing some crazy stuff, man. I've taken a chair shot from Marcus Crane.
Oh wow!
I've actually John Wayne Murdoch was holding the chair while Marcus Crane was swinging it.
Wow!
And then I've taken a boot camp from Corporal Robinson. I've gotten choke slammed. Those are all on bigger shows. And then I've even turned around and on a regular Sunday show at Grindhouse Pro Wrestling Academy, I've taken a choke slam from one of the students. So
wow!
I love getting bumped, and I love taking bumps just because, it adds to the show sometimes. You know?
For sure.
Actually, matter of fact, I actually have one match under my belt. And that was actually pretty fun. I ended up getting my hair cut during that match. At the end of that match. So,
how did that happen?
Well, okay, so there is a ref that recently started at IWA Mid South. His name is Ben Sheeran. I gotta shout him out, man.
Go ahead.
people think that we hate each other, and you know, he might get on my nerves a little bit, but he's actually like my, you know, like my bro.
Yeah.
And I, you know, I'm really proud to see him doing what he's been doing here recently. He's been spreading his wings. He actually went out to Double or Nothing, and like he went just to go watch the show, and then turned around and got booked by a company in Vegas while he was out there.
Oh,
so,
man.
Yeah, he ended up finding him some ref work while he was out there, man, and so I was
Good
super
for
proud
him.
of him.
Good for him.
Anyway, getting sidetracked, but Ben,
go ahead.
Ben started at IWA and stuff, and he actually was on a tryout show and you know and made it on and stuff, and then he also referees at the Grindhouse Pro Wrestling Academy with me, and while we were there, we kind of had got into a little angle, and we were doing some funny stuff where he was cheating for a particular wrestler or two, and you know, I would catch him and I would throw him out of matches, and I fired him a couple times, and and gave him another chance, and you know, all kinds of fun stuff. That spilled over into at IWA, and ended up culminating into a match for the role of senior official at IWA Mid-South. And I ended up beating him. Hulk Hogan style. I gave him the big suplex and then the big leg drop afterwards, and got the 1, 2, 3. And afterwards, him and his team jumped me with a chair. Oh wow! And ended up giving me a curb stomp on said chair. And then cut my man bun off.
Oh no! Not the man bun! Dang.
Yeah, because for the last couple of years that I've been on the independent wrestling scene and you know, getting myself out there, I've kind of gotten a nickname for myself, Referee Man Bun, and that ended up dying on that night.
The gimmick is gone. No,
it is. Yeah. So yeah, man, I love to have fun in the ring. I love to take bumps and do different stuff, and you know, and like that was a blast, man. And like, if I could pull back the curtain just a little bit again, like,
please go
it was
ahead.
funny. The night that I walked in, and I told Ian, I said, "Hey, man," I said, "I think I want to cut my hair." And he said, "What? No." And this is Ian Rotten, you know what I mean? He's seen it all in this business. So, and he goes, "No, you're kidding." I was like, "Nah, yeah. I think I'm ready." And he was like, "All right." So, because Ben had been trying to talk me into it, you know, like ever since the match had got announced, and I was just kind of like, I don't know, man, like, so, but yeah, we did it. So.
Oh wow. But you know what though? I like, man. Way to. I mean, you decided to cut it off, and that's cool. But way to do it for the business. Like you could have just done it on your own time. You know what I mean? Like you could have just, you know, you could have done it on your own time and said, "I'm just gonna cut it off," and you know, just whatever. When next time the fans see me, I won't be Referee Man Bun anymore. But you flipped it in. You know, you flipped it into a story, and I'm like, man, that's just cool, man. I like that. That's cool to me.
Yeah, I mean, I love this business. You know what I mean?
I can tell.
And not only that, but the match was able to. We were with the match. We were able to also, because the match had people from the Grindhouse Academy that all work for IWA Mid-South, and also had the head trainer. He wrestles at IWA, and he was the head trainer. His name is Raul Lamada. He was in the match also. It was a 4-on-4 match. And then at the end of it, me and Ben got in there, and that's when I slammed him and all that good stuff. So, but yeah, so I mean, it was fun because we got to work with all those guys too, who are getting their feet wet and going against some really good talent. Like for instance, one of the guys that was in that match, Joe Trigger Travis, the week before, or it was maybe a week or two before, had just had a match with Michael Elgin, and it was killer. So. But yeah, man, it meant a lot just because of the guys that was, involved in that match, all 8 guys, not just my team. And the fact that, like you said, I was able to do it in the ring, which, I mean, I wanted to anyway. I had a plan originally, and that plan didn't look like it was going to be able to, come into fruition anytime soon. And that match had got made. and it was coincidentally the weekend after WrestleMania weekend. WrestleMania weekend, and so I went up there with my man bun, and was seen by, all the different people that I was seen by up there.
Yeah,
I refereed on 3 different shows WrestleMania weekend.
Wow.
So yeah, man, yeah, that was a whole nother. That was such an awesome experience.
Oh, I bet. I bet. For real.
Yeah,
I bet.
Man. But yeah, I was able to go up there with my man bun WrestleMania weekend, and then literally cut the week after. So
that's crazy, man. You was there. You was reffing at WrestleMania weekend, man. Why is Indiana going so hard in this wrestling game? What's happening, bro?
I swear, man.
There's
a lot of cool stuff going on in Indiana right now, man.
No
From
doubt.
Indianapolis all the way down to where I'm at. You know what I mean?
No doubt. I mean, some of these young kids I'm seeing, like coming into this game, I'm seeing these little Billy Starks. I'm seeing these Corey Storms. You know what I mean? I'm seeing these young kids coming. I'm like, man, wrestling looking like it's gonna be all right.
Yeah. And shout out to both of those names that you mentioned, because both of them are like family to me, man. I love both those
that's tight. That's tight.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Billy. Actually, if I could shout out Billy for a sec, because Mouse, who is her father, Mouse's Wrestling Adventures, he is actually a really good friend of mine. And he takes killer photos at all the wrestling events, Midwest and all kinds of stuff. But Billy, she was out there on the road with Mouse, taking promo pictures, like putting in the work and paying her dues, as people say. And before she even started training, and then once she started training, it was just like she's wanted this since she was a little girl, and now she's to see her killing it and doing what she's doing, man. I love it. I love that little girl, man.
Good for her, no doubt. Good for her,
She's
man.
awesome.
I love to see
awesome.
it, and she's coming in at the right time, because these ladies in this business is killing it. Straight killing it. Women's wrestling is hot.
Absolutely. Yeah, man. Yeah, and I see it all the time whenever, anytime Girl Fight has a show, man. Because the Girl Fight shows are killer, and the fans are coming out. You know what I mean?
Oh, man, and that's what we need to see, man. We need to see these fans coming out. We got to see these fans coming out. We need the support. That's one of the things I like to talk about here on the show is we need the support, man. Is come out, go out, support your local indie fed, y'all, for real. Just support it, because it's how we keep the talent flowing. It's how we get jobs for these young kids that is wanting to hop into the game. You know what I mean? There's a whole generation of dope young talent coming up. So please support your local indie fed, for real. I'm talking over here to my man, esteemed referee Sean Patrick O'Brien. We're having a great conversation right now, man. So let me ask you this now, and this will probably be one of my last few questions here, but I want to ask you about this. You're coming up in the game. This is your generation, so you're in there in the ring with this new generation, like seeing this renaissance of professional wrestling, Sean, seeing what it's coming, and I'm talking about all the way at the top too, with WWE and now AEW coming, and the work rate is getting faster, and wrestling's getting more and more like football and basketball, where it's getting faster and stronger, and things are just rapidly going. What is it like being in the ring with the evolved style of professional wrestling these days from a referee's perspective?
Man, that's a great question. I love it. The whole old school mentality and all that, and and how people like to think that the people these days need to slow down and stuff. I think that really what it is this generation is inspired by so many different styles. From past. And literally, it's just a big mashup of everything, because you can see a really great strong style contest and see some lucha stuff. You know what I mean? You can see, for instance, one of my favorite matches of all time, a TPI 2018 last year, the Ted Petty Invitational, which is a really prestigious tournament as far as with IWA Mid South.
Yeah.
For instance, the 2004 Ted Petty Invitational had guys like AJ Styles and Samoa Joe and all these. There's a really famous match from that TPI between Claudio Castagnoli and Mike Quackenbush. Which Claudio Castagnoli is, of course, Cesaro.
Yeah.
So TPI is a huge esteemed tournament. Last year, there was a match between Congo Kong and a guy from Indiana, from your area actually, named Calvin Tankman.
Oh,
and,
yes,
and those two are two big men who didn't do any big men thing, any big men stuff for about, I'd say a good 20-minute match. They did lucha stuff. They did chain wrestling. They did submissions. They did some ridiculous. They threw in a couple of slams and different stuff like that. Kong missed a moonsault off the top rope. That match was ridiculous.
Ooh.
So you know what I mean? I love the evolution of wrestling and where it's at right now.
Yeah.
And being the third man in the ring and seeing it and having the best seat in the house for it, man, is awesome. It's just it goes back to what I was saying. It's a great time to be a fan because there's so much good stuff out there. And you still have those guys that can do the new indie style, what has evolved, what wrestling has evolved into, and still tell a great story.
Oh yeah.
You see it all the time on WWE.
Oh yeah.
And not only that, you see it on the indie scene. I love work. That's one of the biggest reasons why I love working with guys like Eddie Kingston, because Eddie, he tells such amazing stories throughout his match, and will do some really cool things that you didn't think about. You know what I'm saying? There's actually a couple of different times where I've worked with Eddie, and he's been like, "What would you do in this situation?" And he flipped it to where it was something I didn't even think about. You know what I mean? So yeah, there's so many different styles that are out there that are doing their thing, and so many different styles that are being mixed and meshed that it just goes back to it's a great time to be a wrestling fan. I love this new style. So.
Oh yeah, I agree. I love it. I love the combination of strong style mixed with the little lucha, little cruiserweight action, man. And I agree. They are telling a story. I've been to some great shows, indie shows that tell great stories, but just have that indie work rate, hard hitting, strong style action. A lot of super kicks, a lot of forearms, but I love it. Yeah. I absolutely love it. So speaking of super kicks, I have my last question here for you, Sean, and it's this. Now that the dust has cleared from Double or Nothing, AEW, MGM Grand, Las Vegas, Nevada, let me ask you this. What can you see coming in the coming months, rolling into 2020, coming from AEW?
Oh man, I see really, really good things.
Yeah.
I see a really good future. I see AEW possibly, taking this business on a whole nother level and making everybody step their game up. Kind of like stuff has done in the past.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to kill WWE.
No.
But because WWE is a conglomerate. It's $1 billion business. And they are king of the pro wrestling industry.
Yep.
So, however, I do think that it'll make WWE start stepping their game up, and I think they already have.
Yeah.
So that's what I see as far as what I guess the hopes that I see, because between All In wasn't technically an AEW show, but it still was. It was the same crew of guys that started this company.
Yeah.
And that show was so good. Double or Nothing was really, really good.
Oh yeah.
And so like I don't see nothing but really good things in the future for AEW, and as a whole, I see it taking this business And not only that, but I see it. Fans who were, for the last few years have just been WWE fans, don't follow, indie wrestling or follow anything outside of WWE, especially in this area. Like they're really bad about it in this area, and it kind of sucks sometimes because I still have trouble getting, wrestling fans in this area to come out to, some of the local stuff that I do because I ref in the Louisville area, twice a week, and I have independent music friends who are really big on preach really big on supporting independent and all that stuff like that.
Yeah.
But and they go to WWE shows every time they come through, but they've never been to one of my shows. You know what I mean? But however, on the same token, they are now asking about guys like Maxwell Jacob Friedman. And they're asking questions about guys who I've worked with a million times. Like I've worked with Max a ton of times. They're asking about guys like Mance Warner, who Mance Warner isn't even, on AEW or anything, but they catch MLW on YouTube and they're like, hey, who is this Mance Warner guy?
He's
and
dope.
I'm like, dude, I've been working with Mance Warner for years. Not years, but Mance Warner had. Before he was CZW champion and on MLW and doing the stuff he was having killer matches at IWA Mid-South on a weekly basis, and he was our people's champion for a minute. And one of my favorite matches of all time that I've ever refed was Mance Warner and Matt Riddle.
Wow.
And that match was so good. I don't even know what the original question was.
No, I was just asking about AEW, but I enjoy hearing these stories, though, man. I was asking about
I was saying, fans. It's making fans. It's opening their eyes that there's more out there, just WWE. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure,
Because I have casual fans asking me about all these guys who are at IWA on a weekly basis, even guys like Michael Elgin, with him popping it up at Impact here recently.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and people are like, who is this Michael Elgin guy? And I'm like, oh, you have no clue. He is the man.
Michael Elgin for a minute. He's dope.
Oh yeah, he's so good, man. And like honestly, man, he's given me a reason to start watching Impact again because I was watching it quite a bit whenever my boy Congo Kong was on there.
Yeah.
I love Congo Kong as far as the character, and I love Congo Kong, the man who plays Congo Kong. He's a great dude. He's one of my favorite people. And so, I watched it quite a bit when he was on there, and Jimmy Jacobs was managing him and stuff. Yeah. But then they stopped using him, a little bit or whatever, and so I kind of had fell out with Impact, even though I still had some friends that was doing their thing on there.
Yeah.
But yeah, Mike told me he was getting on there, and he made his debut in a big way. And the first match, I heard about the first match that was on there on the weekly show.
Yeah.
And it was Michael Elgin, John Morrison, and Pentagon Jr. And I was like, oh, that's about to be fire. And so I've watched Impact every week since, man. The second week he had a killer match with Rich Swann. It was Michael Elgin and Rich Swann.
Oh man.
So yeah, I'm a really big Mike fan, a really big Mike fan.
Yeah.
Because I've never refereed a bad match of his.
Oh man.
But like to have friends that are asking, hey, who is Michael Elgin? And I'm like, oh, man, do some research. You gotta
know. You gotta know, man. All you gotta do is hit Wiki real quick, bro.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Hit
man.
that Google.
Yeah. Now,
GTS
if only
that
I can
shit.
get those. Now, if only I can get those independent wrestling fans to come out to a show.
Come on out, y'all. That's what y'all need to do. You guys need to hop over to IWA. You guys need to go check out these independent shows. I'm going to say it a million times until I'm blue in the face. Support your local indie fed. Do it. What are you doing? You come to all the WWE shows when they come into town. Guys, you got good wrestling right there in town. Don't get me going. Don't get me going.
I hate to call out one of my homies, man, because I love this dude. Yeah. And I ain't even gonna call out his name.
Okay.
But I have a rapper friend, one of my rapper friends, who is sponsored by Collar and Elbow and WWEshop.com. And he's been to every WWE show in this area, but he's never been to see me ref.
Oh man, come on.
Isn't that crazy, bro? Like, I'm like,
Man, come on,
dog.
man.
And I give him shit for it all the time just because
You
that's my
should,
dog.
man. You done got bro got too big for his britches.
And he raps. He knows how this independent, grind is. You know what I mean?
For sure. Yeah, it's hard. It's a hard grind, bro.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, hopefully he'll come out to a show. I mean, it'd be funny if he listens to this podcast and he's like, "Damn, I feel really bad now."
Hey man, I hope you feel bad. You better go to a show. Damn, bro. Go to a show, bro. What's happening, bro? Support homie, bro. Come on, he out there refereeing some dope ass matches. Come on. Well, you know what, man? You know what, Sean? I'm gonna support you, and here's how I'm gonna support you, bro. I'm gonna let you plug whatever you wanna plug right here, right now. Go ahead, my man. Plug away.
Oh yeah, for sure. So. The easiest way to follow what I'm doing and the companies that I'm working for, because I work for some really, really dope companies.
Yeah.
Follow me on Twitter and Instagram. It's at official SPO 502. That's at official SPO 502.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I'm always posting stuff on Facebook.
Yeah.
You can follow me on Facebook. You can't. I'm not sure if you can add me at the moment. I know I'm like right there at the 5,000 mark.
Yeah.
Every now and then I get either somebody deletes me or I might delete a friend or two so I can add somebody. But
no doubt,
the Facebook is kind of hard right now. So, but of course, if you really, really want me to add you, you could always hit me in the DMs and I'll see if I can find room. So
no doubt.
The easiest way to follow what I'm doing, though, is, of course, my Instagram and Twitter, because I'm always posting where I'm at and what I'm doing.
Yeah.
This week, I have IWA Mid-South on Thursday. Actually, I guess this won't come out till next week, will it? So this won't really matter.
This will be out tomorrow.
You gonna put it out tomorrow?
It'll be out tomorrow, bro.
Never mind. Here we go then.
Here we go.
Yeah. Next week. This weekend, Thursday, I got IWA Mid South.
Okay.
We got Jimmy Jacobs, Dutch Mantel in town.
Dope.
And Manny Fernandez. And then also, the regular roster. It's been killing it every week.
Yep.
On Saturday, I have Black Label Pro, and that is in Crown Point, Indiana. Let's see. I'm trying to think. Barry Harowitz is on that show, actually.
Oh, I talked to Barry a little bit ago. Yep.
Yeah, man. Yeah, former guest. I saw that you. Yeah, I saw you had a show with him. Yep.
Dope.
So yeah, he is on that show, along with the usual cast of characters at Black Label between Ethan Page and Kobe Durst, and I believe Nick Gage is on that show. Jordan Grace. So yeah, man, I love anytime I get to go to Black Label Pro because they're killing it right now. And of course you can watch that. I believe you can watch that live on independentwrestling.tv.
Oh.
And then that's Saturday, and then Sunday I have Glory Pro, which is in it's in Illinois. I know the St. Louis area, Collinsville, I believe it is. Collinsville, Illinois is where that is. And let's see, I believe Joey Ryan is going to be there actually this weekend at Glory Pro. So that's going to be a lot of fun.
Man.
So yeah, I have IWA on Thursday, Black Label Pro on Saturday, and Glory Pro on Sunday. But like I said, man, easiest way to always follow what I'm doing is on my Twitter and on my Instagram and my Facebook. You can follow me on all three of those and see what I'm doing.
Absolutely. Guys, this was esteemed referee Sean Patrick O'Brien. Thank you so much for coming on and blessing my podcast, bro. Thank you so much, bro.
Oh, man. Thank you, bro. I appreciate you having me on here, man. Thank you.
Oh, no doubt. Guys, this was another great episode. I want to thank my guest once again, esteemed referee Sean Patrick O'Brien, for helping me put together a great show. Guys, let me let you know where you guys can listen to this at. You guys can listen to this at Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Spreaker, iHeartRadio, Himalaya. Oh, you don't got an Apple device? That's alright. We're on Google Play. Anywhere that you guys are, we can get to you. Check us out October 5th, Heroes and Legends 13, Fort Wayne, Indiana. We're breaking news here tonight. Heroes and Legends 13 is going to be available on the Fight app, Fight TV. Check that out. We are the official podcast of Heroes and Legends 13 in your house. Check us out. I tell you guys this every single episode. Get on or get gone. Because the household, well, we going strong. You guys have a great day and a great rest of your week. Peace.